Welcome to a very quick overview of how the FlexSpace integrated planning process can save you time, money, and effort. Whether you're working on campus, at a K through 12 school, or any other kind of large planning environment, good ideas start with getting all the key stakeholders around the table. We recommend starting with the Learning Space Rating System version 3, or LSRS for short. Download the score sheet and criteria book. Then start rating your project scope. It could be within a department, a school, or an entire campus. The LSRS provides insight on space effectiveness by rating detailed attributes of each space, offering a holistic view of where your spaces measure up against an ideal state. The data offers insight on how to potentially prioritize campus investment against opportunity cost. Once you have the data, your stakeholder advisory group will use FlexSpace to start ideating, and you can share ideas through a common private idea board. Most importantly, using this process, your advisory group will be empowered by data-driven decision-making and peer benchmarking. To get started, you need not allocate a lot of staff time. Student assistants can be assigned to gather the critical information and fill in the LSRS score sheets. Just be sure to run your team of students and supervising staff through a few mock exercises to make sure everyone is on the same page. Here's a hypothetical example. On this campus, we've decided to investigate space upgrades in a cluster of buildings on the north end. Let's concentrate on Building B, which has the same footprint on all 3 stories. Each floor is occupied by a different department. Your students go through each room and assign a score according to the LSRS criteria. To guide initial investment strategy based on need, rank the spreadsheet by LSRS scores. Here we can see that sociology has the highest ranked space and also the lowest ranked. It would be logical to conclude that the lower ranked rooms should be the investment priority. But what about further budget refinement? When the LSRS data is overlaid with strategic enrollment data, we can see that education is the department with current draw. Most importantly, this data will be transparent to all the key stakeholders gathered around the table. Your mileage may vary, but typically the table includes faculty influencers, facilities managers and architects, and AVIT personnel to help plan for key academic technology installations. Everyone at the table is either provided a FlexSpace account or creates one during the first convening and is instructed to go through the collection to find examples through the lens of their disciplinary expertise. The next meeting becomes far more energized. The team adds rooms to a common idea board and can talk through the attributes of each space. Oftentimes, faculty will get excited to discover their colleagues have identified spaces similar to their own interests, regardless of discipline. As ideal exemplars are identified and benchmarked from peer institutions, external contractors and architects can now be engaged with the team, having a much clearer idea of goals and outcomes, and can present these ideas to executive leadership for funding consideration. Thank you for listening to this quick overview. The FlexSpace team is administered out of the SUNY Center for Professional Development in partnership with Cal State Universities, Penn State, and the Foothill De Anza Community College District, and of course, our generous sponsor partners. If you'd like to learn more about this integrated planning process, or perhaps partnering with this global effort, please email info@flexspace.org and we'll follow up with you right away. Thank you.
Hello, thanks for exploring FlexSpace, the Flexible Learning Environments Exchange. This video will show you how to browse, search, and filter hundreds of learning space examples contributed from campuses around the world. It'll also show you how to upload your own spaces to add to the collection. Just visit flexspace.org and request an account today from your laptop or mobile device. This is what the portal looks like. You log in and you'll see all spaces, and so you can search on a particular piece of equipment that you're interested in, a keyword, and so forth. You can also filter on the different types of spaces, anything from active learning classrooms, lecture halls, labs, outdoor spaces, and so forth. You can filter on seating capacity, project scope, and if you're trying to benchmark different types of institutions or peer institution, I should say, you can look in all institution types and pick if you are interested in only looking at private colleges, public colleges, community colleges, and so forth. We now have the LSRS, Learning Spaces Rating System, scoring rubric embedded into our space template. So if somebody has scored their space with the LSRS rating system and has published it in FlexSpace, you can filter on those spaces that have the LSRS score. So you can just poke around in here and browse, take a look at more details of the space that you like. And I'll look at this one from San Diego State University. This is the Learning Glass Studio, and it's a great example of what you can do with your flex space entry. So you can see the owner of the space here, and if I click on her name, I can see all of the spaces that Aurora has uploaded. And you can see a brief description of the space, some required data over here in terms of seating capacity and so forth. All these details here, some universities share the cost. You see all the specs of the facilities, lots of photos that you can browse through. You can click, browse through those. You see the captions there. And then you can see what's inside. So different layout and furnishings, environment, technology. There are some keywords in here as well. You can see more technical specs of the space and actually click here for a recorded live tour. So if you are uploading your own space, some of these fields support HTML, so you could make these bulleted lists and link to your own website with a video or other materials that you'd like to link to. You can see this, the story of the rationale of the design thinking that went into the space, evidence of impact, other materials that have been uploaded. So this is an assessment protocol, so an observation protocol post-occupancy. So if you have a Learning Glass studio on your own campus, you can use this protocol to evaluate the use and effectiveness of that space. You can see a detailed equipment list and then many more additional photos. And as you can see here, these are some renderings as well as more pictures of the space in use and even close-ups of equipment. So this is a great example of what you can do with your flex space entry. Again, you as a browser and user of flex space can just browse through these spaces, but you can upload a space just like this. So I'll show you these different icons here. I am logged in so that I can edit the space, but normally you would not be able to unless you are an owner or a collaborator on the space. So I will show you that here. First of all, you notice that you can decide you only want people logged into FlexSpace to see your space, or you can select to allow public sharing outside. That means that I can get anyone looking at this space now can get a link to share with others who don't have a FlexSpace account, which is really handy if you want to share it with somebody who doesn't ever intend on getting a FlexSpace account, or you want to put the link on your website or put it in social media, then somebody can see the space without logging in. The other thing here is as an editor, I can add collaborators. So I want to have other people, maybe there are industry partners like from Sonic Foundry and MediaSite, Wolf Vision, Herman Miller, and so forth. They have been co-editors on this space, and I can add people. So you might want to add people from your own team at your university. Maybe it's an architect and designer, an AV integrator, an industry partner. You can add them as collaborators. That means that everybody who is a collaborator can edit this entry, which means it's great to spread the work around if you like and have different perspectives. So different collaborators can upload photos, they can add the spaces and the tagging. Here's the LSRS scoring, and you can add more and more features to the space, resources, and so forth. So that's what a collaborator can do in the template. And as you can see, because that share outside of FlexSpace was activated, now this share icon displays, and you can copy that link and now post it wherever you like. If I really like this space and I want to keep track of it, I can add it to an idea board. And so this is where I can create an idea board, or I can add this. I can add this to an existing idea board. So let's say you can see I've already added this to an idea board I created called Spaces to Show. So I can add it or remove it. I have some other ones here. This is not a hybrid space, but I'll show you what happens if I add it, which is no big deal because this is my own idea board, and I'll show you what that means. So let's say I'm creating hybrid spaces. I think this is a great example, and I want to add it to my idea board. I can like it, and so forth. So I will close that space, and now let me show you about idea boards. So if I click in the main navigation here, I can go to my idea boards. And as you see, it just says my idea boards, which means that this is private to me. No other people can see it. You can see the Learning Glass Studio just got added to my idea board. And if I click on this, I can see all the spaces that I've added to this idea board. And also toolkit resources, but I haven't added any yet. So you can create idea boards to, let's say you're creating a space, or you're helping somebody on your campus to design a space or get ideas on what is possible. You can create an idea board and add collaborators to it. So for instance, in this idea board, working with JMS Gateway Building, I created an idea board and I added collaborators to it. So now people from my university at San Diego State, and perhaps a campus-based partner, I can put that person on this idea board. We can all look at the idea board. We can all add spaces to the idea board, and so forth. So this is a great collaboration tool to bring teams together and basically go into FlexSpace, tag spaces or toolkit resources that you think are relevant to your project, and then share this idea board with everybody. You can display this at a meeting discussion to say, hey, let's take a look at these spaces and talk about what we like about the spaces, what we don't like, what might be applicable to our upcoming project. So the idea boards are a great way for collaborating and bringing different perspectives together as well. I keep mentioning toolkit. So in addition to spaces, we have toolkit resources, which are planning guides, research, white papers, assessment tools, and so forth. So just like with spaces, you can search, you can browse, you can filter, but we've also curated collections or galleries. So for instance, planning for social distancing, remote and high flex teaching. We've already curated this for you. So anything that we see that is uploaded by the community and has to do with this topic, we create a gallery, and then you can go through there and see all of the different related resources. So that's what galleries are really useful as an organizing tool that we, like I said, curate for you. And you can always go back to all tools and search, browse, filter, and so forth. Let's go to the institutions page. If I go here, I can see all of the institutions and I can search, which I will do on San Diego State. Then I can click on that. And this is a great feature because I can see everybody at San Diego State who has an account in FlexSpace. And I can see all of the spaces that they have uploaded from that campus, as well as any toolkit resources that they have uploaded. So this is a great way to see what's going on at a peer institution, or if I know somebody's a thought leader in spaces, I want to see everything that they're uploading. And even on my own campus, you could use this as a sort of classroom directory if you wanted to, where you could have faculty get a FlexSpace account. You could have tech support folks, people from your Learning Spaces team, AV integrators, learning space planners, and so forth from facilities. They could all get FlexSpace accounts, and they could look at this institution page as sort of a classroom directory, see what's in the space, and so forth. And again, you can see everybody else who's on campus who is interested in learning spaces and has a FlexSpace account. So that's just a quick overview of all the different kinds of features in FlexSpace. I hope that you will take some time to browse, filter the collection, create some idea boards, add spaces to those idea boards, and what we really would encourage you to do is also create a new space. So that is the template, and that is where you can upload your own spaces and share those with the community. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you as a member of FlexSpace.